Now at 9, we learn about one mother's push to prevent deaths from fentanyl overdose.
Thanks, Tanya. I am here live at the stomping grounds here in Lamar, where the 8-second shootout is going on. We'll have that coming up. So far, so good.
And Missouri Southern receives a $1 million donation for its new Health Science Innovation Center.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Tanya Bach. Nearly 4 months ago, a mother lost her son to an overdose, and now she is seeking to bring awareness to the community. KOAM's Elise Noe has the story.
Cooper Campiti was 18 years old when he died in his home this past April from fentanyl poisoning. According to the CDC, over 150 people die every day from overdoses related to synthetic opioids like fentanyl. Kyle Campiti, Cooper's mom, is sharing her story on the dangers of fentanyl and how it can forever impact a family.
It's changed our lives. We've had to find a new normal without him, and processing what's happened to him, and educate ourselves on what's happened to him.
Kyle and her husband are taking their son's story and using their tragedy to help save lives.
So we started the Cooper Campiti Fentanyl Education Initiative right after he passed away, and with the goal of creating awareness and education to young adults and students.
One of Kyle's goals is to have a billboard with Cooper to bring awareness to the community. She's also working with the DEA to educate students on fentanyl.
And I would like to work maybe even with pharmacies and get an education out there on how to obtain Narcan, which is the drug that will reverse an overdose.
The Campitis want everyone to know that fentanyl does not discriminate. It can affect a community, a family, a life in an instant. And being aware of the drug can make all the difference. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Elise Noe, KOAM News.
To contribute to the Cooper Campiti Fentanyl Education Initiative, you can visit our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, get ready for a hot weekend. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us with a first look at the weather.
All right, you are correct, Tanya. We're expecting very, very warm temperatures this weekend. So enjoy this evening and into the morning hours with temperatures dropping through the 70s to a low of about 70 degrees by tomorrow morning. So far this summer, we've had several days of 100 plus. We had, we had 2 back in June, then we had 5 in July, and 3 so far in August, but we're going to be adding to that total as we go into the forecast. And looking down the lane, a hot weekend shaping up across the area, a heat wave all next week, low rain chances towards next weekend, and of course that means the drought is worsening across our area as well. And of course I have all the details in your hot forecast as well as a look at the extended period in just a little bit. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Sam. Joplin Police Department spent the evening connecting with the community. The department today hosted a neighborhood block party at Par Hill Park, and folks were able to come out, grab a hot dog, and have some fun. Kids were also able to get an up-close look at police vehicles. Organizers say it's a chance for people to get to know their local officers.
It's an intriguing truck. Every time we go somewhere, a parade, everybody wants to see it and gives them the opportunity to get inside, learn about what that truck's all about, because there's a lot of questions that people have when it comes to the vehicles that the police department has, but also vehicles around the city. What are they used for and how often do they get used?
The JPD is planning to hold another block party on September 15th. Well, Lamar, Missouri welcomes the PBR Challenger Series this evening. KOAM's Anthony Saviello joins us there live. Anthony.
Thanks, Tanya. Yeah, it's amazing out here. The crowd is electric. I was out here earlier this afternoon trying to figure out how this all comes together, and I looked out, got to meet a cowboy, and he's telling us all about what he does to prepare.
All happened by accident. My dad roped, so naturally I just always roped. I always wanted to be one of the best ropers, but it was just tough for me. There's a lot going on at one time. It's not only just you have to worry about your horse and your partner and stuff like that, but with bull riding it was a lot simpler. We was in the practice pen and I kept missing steers, and so I was like, man, you know what, I'm gonna ride one.
Keith Hall is a professional bull rider and has been riding since he was 15. A sport that requires a lot of athletic ability and resilience, and according to Keith, a little bit of crazy.
But I mean, once you do it so many times, I just had the privilege of doing it when I was younger. So when the bulls got bigger and I got older, it didn't seem like it was that bad. But if I had to start riding bulls at 18, it would take a lot more.
Yeah. And while Keith is one of the lucky ones who was able to start early, even for someone on his level, failure is guaranteed to happen at some point.
And you want to win every time because you put so much effort into winning, but you have to understand that you're not going to win every time. You're not going to ride every single bull that you get on. So the best thing to do is keep moving forward.
And as stands fill up here at the stomping grounds, Keith prepares as he waits to take on his 2,000-pound opponents, who have one goal in mind: get Keith off their back. And boy, do these bulls look mean. And I tell you what, Keith, he was up against a mean bull, but that did not stop him from placing fourth so far in today's ride. And he's doing amazing. These riders are ready, they're competitive. Already a few injuries so far, but that's to be expected when you're riding 2,000-pound bulls. And these riders are competing for up to $15,000 today. So we're excited out here. The fun continues. The crowd is electric, and it's going to be a fun night.
All right, well, if you didn't get a chance to get out tonight, what time does all the riding start tomorrow night?
Yeah, absolutely, Tanya. Riding is going to start around 8 p.m. So the gates are going to open at 6:30. So people are going to have about an hour and a half to get in here, and the stands are pretty full right now. So I can only imagine what it's going to look like tomorrow. You can book your tickets online as well too. They're actually a little bit cheaper. So if people want to come out here, see all this craziness that's just happening right now. It's electric. It's amazing. So yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, not a little bit of crazy, it's a lot of crazy. All right, thank you so much, Anthony.
It is, yeah.
Speaking of animals, the Oklahoma Bureau of Land Management is hosting a 2-day wild horse and burro adoption event. The event kicked off today, featured 90 animals for adoption. As part of the program's efforts to find every horse and burro a good home, the Bureau now offers up to $1,000 to adopt an untrained animal. This incentive will be offered for every animal in Girard.
So we still want the horses on our lands, but we have enough room for around 26,000 horses out west, and we have just around 90,000 roaming wild. So we just want to control the herd and make sure there's enough grazing, enough water for the horses.
Adoptions will resume tomorrow from 8 a.m. to noon at the Crawford County Fairgrounds. Cox Health today hosted a barbecue lunch in Lamar, Missouri to say thank you to first responders. It's an annual event held to honor those who risk their lives every day to serve our community. Each first responder got a boxed lunch, including a hamburger, chicken sandwich, potato salad, baked beans, chips, a cookie, and a drink.
Cox Health believes that our first responders are pivotal for the health care of our communities. This is a way that we can give back to them and let them know that we do care for what they're doing and that without them, we can't do what we do. So this is just one more way that we can give back and tell them that we appreciate all they're doing.
This is the 8th year of the Salute to First Responders lunch. Missouri Southern got a big donation today. The Steadley Trust through Bank of America awarded the university $1 million to benefit the school's new Health Science Innovation Center. The gift was publicly announced to faculty and staff yesterday at a welcome back event to kick off the fall semester. The center will cost a total of $38 million to build and will feature what the university calls a best-in-class facility to train future healthcare professionals. Well, coming up, we take a look at the impact of vaping on young adults and teenagers. Researchers say younger Americans are becoming more at risk of becoming diagnosed with cancer. A study published in JAMA Network Open shows cancer rates for younger people are sharply rising. The study shows rates of cancer for people between 30 and 39 rose by about 20% from 2010 to 2019. Researchers say causes for the increase of early onset cancer rates include obesity, alcohol, and smoking. About 1 in 10 middle and high school students reported using e-cigarettes. in a 2022 national survey. A new study shows serious respiratory symptoms may not take long to appear after a young person starts using e-cigarettes. Mandy Gaither has a look at the research and what one of the study's authors wants people to take away from it.
The health risks of long-term e-cigarette use are still being studied, but new research is shining a light on the impact on the respiratory health of young people.
E-cigarettes are by no means risk-free. E-cigarettes carry a potential respiratory risk.
Elena Tackett and her colleagues carried out a study looking at symptoms young people reported in school-based surveys after about a month of e-cigarette use.
In this study, we found that past 30-day e-cigarette use was associated with symptoms of shortness of breath and symptoms of bronchitis.
Those symptoms were reported after e-cigarette use regardless of the use of cannabis, traditional cigarettes, or secondhand smoke exposure, which Tackett says signals that vaping is harmful on its own.
Any young person who's not using any other products really should be aware and make a thoughtful choice before initiating e-cigarette use.
The CDC says most e-cigarettes contain nicotine, which is highly addictive and can also harm the developing brain of a young person and impact their ability to pay attention, learn, control impulses, and have a negative effect on their mood.
Meteorologist Sam Elaine is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later the MIAA puts out its preseason volleyball poll. We'll see where the Gorillas and Lions landed.
Well, folks, I hope you had the air conditioners and the fans ready to go because you're going to need them this coming week, starting this weekend with very, very warm temperatures. In fact, record levels were near that. But this morning, things were looking pretty nice, including Seneca, Missouri, with Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. And as that goes into motion, you'll see the mostly fair skies today. And then this afternoon, we saw bright sunny skies and warm temperatures, hardly a cloud in the sky. And it's going to be that way for the next several days. This afternoon, we did make it up to 89 degrees, so we missed the 90-degree mark, which would have been normal. And look at the low, 60 degrees this morning, only 4 degrees away from the record set back in 1992. Those are the kind of records we like setting this time of year, not the kind that's going to be coming as we head towards the weekend. And of course, we're behind on the rainfall so far for this year. Excessive heat warnings are already in effect for southwestern Missouri, southeastern Kansas. This goes until Wednesday at 10 p.m. So that just kind of goes to show you how long of a period that we're going to be dealing with the heat. This evening, though, temperatures are very nice. In the upper 70s right now in Fort Scott and Nevada in many locations. Lower 80s in southeastern Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma, where it's currently 82 in Independence and in Nowata. But look at the dew points. They are in the 60s up in Iola and Fort Scott, but then you get into the 70s and in the upper 70s down to the south in Oklahoma. And so that lets you know that the muggy air is not that far away and is starting to advance to the north and east. In fact, it could be downright soupy as we head towards the weekend. And when you add the temperatures with those dew points, this is what it's going to feel like. 111 in Miami and in Welch, 114 in Nowata, just oppressively hot tomorrow. And that continues into Sunday, even worse, with 116 in Miami, same thing in Miami, or at least Veneta and in Grove, 113 in Nevada and Stockton. Just brutal hot out there. And that continues right into Monday as well, with temperatures well over 110, or at least it feeling like 110 plus across the entire area. So if you're going to be outside, make sure that you stay hydrated, take frequent breaks. Limit your outdoor activities if at all possible. Wear lightweight and light colored clothes, and be sure to check on the elderly and make sure the pets are watered. Rain chances are going to be pretty close to zero through the entire 36-hour period, and it's all because this big ridge of high pressure is sitting right over the 4 states, and it's just going to meander around for a few days, and it's very difficult to dislodge this thing once it sets up, and that's why we're going to see several days of 100 plus temperatures across the area. Tonight, we're going to see lows in the 70s with southwesterly winds. Then tomorrow, temperatures in the upper 90s, low 100s, especially out towards the west, places like Howard and in Bartlesville. And then as we go through Saturday night and Sunday morning, lows in the 70s, and then Sunday afternoon, You guessed it. Everyone should make over 100 degrees with maybe Monette scraping by with a high of 99, but still, it's going to be hot everywhere. And then as we go into Monday morning, lows in the 70s, and then look at the next 7 days. The heat just continues right through all of next week. And then we have a chance, a small chance of showers next weekend with temperatures getting closer to normal, whatever normal is.
Yeah, I was going to say normal. I like the light at the end of the tunnel with 90 degrees.
I had to throw some
nice.
hope in there somewhere.
And the best part is the low that's below 70.
That's exactly right.
I'll take that.
Yep.
We can get through this.
We can make it. Just
hot
stay cool.
Stretch. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Sam. Well, coming up, how a popular fast food restaurant is celebrating educators ahead of the school year. Sonic is celebrating the beginning of the school year with free food for educators. All staff at K through 12 schools and universities can earn free food on Sonic's Teachers Circle app from August 21st to the 25th. Members will receive free rewards each day, starting with a free large drink or slushie. Educators need to make a purchase using the app to get the rewards. And Sonic says the deals are its way of saying thanks to those who inspire kids every day. Two stores known for lower grocery prices had different directions in sales. Walmart reported better than expected growth in sales in the second quarter. The nation's largest retailer continues to win over shoppers looking for low-priced groceries. Meanwhile, Walmart's competitor Target saw its comparable sales dip 5.4% in the second quarter. Some toddler towers are being recalled due to fall risk. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says more than 108,000 Simplay 3 toddler towers have the potential to tip over and cause injuries to young children. The company reports 16 incidents of towers tipping over while being used and 10 reports of injuries. The product was sold in stores from November 2018 through June of 2023. Up next, how a 90s icon is making a comeback to support relief efforts in Maui. The maker of Beanie Babies says it's releasing a new limited edition bear to help wildfire survivors in Hawaii. It's named Aloha, and it's gold with a rainbow ribbon and the words Maui Strong on its chest. Ty Warner says all profits from its sale will go to the American Red Cross. Beanie Babies come with birthdays and poems. Aloha's birthday is August 8th, the day wildfires took off in Maui. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Woman in Miami is battling a camper seller after she says the travel trailer she bought was not in good shape. Plus, an event by the Neosho River is letting people get all the tools they need for napping. 9 people were injured in a crash involving a bus full of inmates. It happened just before 1 a.m. yesterday near Iola, Kansas. Authorities say the bus was carrying 21 female inmates from the Topeka Correctional Facility. They were in Iola working at the Russell Stover plant before returning to Topeka that night. On their way back, the bus turned onto Highway 169 and collided with a semi. The driver of the bus and 8 inmates were injured. 75-year-old Miami woman is battling a camper seller after the $8,500 camper she bought suffered major water damage following recent rains. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has the story.
Della Louise Whitlock bought a camper at the beginning of August, expecting to take it to the lake and live there. Just a couple of days after the purchase, heavy rain hit, and she had an unpleasant surprise.
When Louise bought the camper, it looked good, just like this area does now. But after the first rain, the infiltrations became apparent.
This is water in the wall.
When we got to looking, the flooring, the carpeting was all wet. The mattress and the sponge that they had on top of the mattress was all stuck together.
This is what was neatly hidden.
Jeff Baker, owner of JB Mobile RV Repair, took a look at the videos of Whitlock's camper, made after the rain.
You would have seen slight discoloration, and you'd have noticed there had been wrinkling in that paneling. You can tell up here all the little pinholes. That's a telltale sign.
What does that mean?
That means that there's been water.
Whitlock contacted the seller. According to her, he said that he'd give her the money back, but he never did. We also tried contacting the seller several times with no response. A woman who sells campers in the same lot said that they are buy-as-is business. She also said Whitlock and her kids were aware of that.
I was told that it was in good condition, everything worked, there were no leaks.
Baker recommends to any potential buyer to make an inspection.
The number one thing we find when people buy a used trailer is water damage. And it doesn't take much of it to become a very expensive repair.
If the buyer can't afford an inspector, Baker recommends checking the roof for soft spots and looking for anything that doesn't feel solid.
A lot of times on the walls, there's nothing behind them, especially on interior walls. Exterior walls in the corners is your main areas you want to focus when looking, because most of the time a leak will start in the corner of a roof.
Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Besides being concerned with possible infiltrations, buyers should make sure that the trailer has water and power hooked up. You also want to make sure all the appliances work. The second annual Baxter Springs Jeep Invasion today rolled into Kiwanis Park in Baxter Springs, Kansas. The event includes a show and shine, including a kiddie car show, raffle, live bands, vendors, food trucks, Clash of the Clubs, cornhole tournament, and bounce houses, and so much more. It also serves as a fundraiser for the Project Tribute Foundation, which provides support for first responders.
We just kind of decided to start this. We wanted to get something going on in the city of Baxter, and you know, and we in the process we decided to partner with Project Tribute Foundation and raise money for charity for them as well.
The invasion continues tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Well, if napping is more your style, the Neosho River Nap-In kicked off today. It's an event that brings the area's best nappers, craftsmen, and artisans to Chautauqua, Kansas. Attendees are able to learn how to craft arrowheads, knives, and spears.
On like social media, you know, you find groups on there, then start getting introduced to a lot of great nappers. I'm just kind of, you know, starting up at it and learning, still learning. I feel like you always got, you know, something new to learn with it and get better and better at it. But yeah, you come to a nap-in and, you know, sit down and start talking with people and watching them and watching videos. You learn a lot.
The nap-in continues tomorrow from 10 a.m. to dusk. Well, a bit later, Netflix looking to expand its market.
The biggest movie and TV streamer in the world is going after the biggest game streamer in the world for their share of the gaming market. I'm Eamon Dignam in New York with the details on the latest Netflix development.
Well, this past week, you've certainly enjoyed some very nice temperatures below normal, especially in the morning hours with near record lows. But now we're going to go the other direction. We're going to see temperatures getting close to records as far as the high temperatures go. Right now in Seneca, Missouri, at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, beautiful evening shaping up out there. Not too bad as far as the temperatures go right now. 89 was our high today. We started out at 60, which was only 4 degrees away from the record of 56. And of course that was below normal, and we're also below normal, of course, on the rainfall for the year. We already have excessive heat warnings in effect for southwestern Missouri, southeastern Kansas, also northeastern Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. We'll get in on that as we head towards the rest of the weekend. But temperatures right now are not that bad. Generally in the upper 70s, 77 in Stockton, same thing in Lamar, 75 in Iola. It is in the 80s though in northeastern Oklahoma with 82 in Nowata and in Veneta. Dew points, they're on the increase too. You can see an 80-degree dew point at Nowata, 77 at Veneta, and then you start getting into the 60s once you go up towards the north. And so we're going to be seeing the muggy and soupy air coming back in, and when you factor that in with the temperature, you're looking at heat index values well over 110 tomorrow in Miami, Veneta, Nowata, 107 in Iola, just brutal hot out there. And that's going to continue right through Sunday. Look at this, 116 in Miami and in Grove is what it's going to feel like on Sunday afternoon. And then as we go into Monday, it continues to stay hot with heat indexes well over 110 across the area. So let's stay safe this weekend and next week. So the way to do that is to take frequent breaks. If you're going to be outside, stay hydrated, limit your outdoor activities, and of course make sure you're checking on the elderly as well as your pets and making sure that they have plenty of water. No water to be coming out of the sky, that's for sure, over the next 36 hours, basically a zero chance of precipitation. And it's all because we have this big ridge of high pressure that's going to park itself right over the 4 states, and it's not going anywhere. It's going to sit right here for several days, and as a result, we're going to see temperatures increasing into the low 100s. Tonight, we're going to see lows in the 70s with southwesterly winds. Then tomorrow, temperatures the upper 90s to low 100s, especially out towards the west, around Howard and Sedan. They'll definitely make over 100. And then as we go into Sunday morning, we'll see lows in the mid 70s, and then Sunday afternoon, 100 pretty much everywhere, except for maybe Monette. They may scrape by with just 99, but 99, 100, what's the difference? And then as we go into Monday morning, we're going to see lows in the 70s, and then Monday afternoon, we get back over 100 degrees on Monday afternoon. Same thing for Tuesday, and then Wednesday, we cool off just a little bit, and even more so as we head towards next weekend with the chance of showers, but really the chance of showers are not that great even at that point. So the drought certainly continues, and we don't need the heat added with it, but that's what we're going to have.
Yeah. Well, kind of with this, like right now, we got so much rain a couple weeks ago, so if you haven't had a chance to mow your jungle of a yard at this point, if we wait long enough, it's just going to be so dry when we do mow it, it won't grow back.
Sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
Got it figured out. 2 more days. There we go. All right, thanks, Sam. More than a week after the devastating wildfires in Hawaii, state officials are facing growing scrutiny about how they responded to the crisis. Fox Weather's Robert Ray has more.
After spending days camping out in cars and parking lots, people on the island of Maui are filling up hotels and vacation rentals. Their homes destroyed in last week's devastating wildfires. Authorities here are hoping to clear out crowded shelters by early next week. The Red Cross says hotels are prepared to house displaced residents until at least next spring.
The Red Cross will work with everyone, and everyone who is eligible will be given access to hotel rooms.
Hawaiian officials now facing growing criticism over how they prepared for these wildfires. On Thursday, the state's attorney general announced plans for an independent review of the response. It all comes as the head of the island's emergency management agency resigned, citing health reasons. Earlier this week, he defended his decision not to sound disaster sirens when flames erupted.
There are no sirens, Mauka, or on the mountainside, where the fire was spreading down. So even if we sounded the siren, it would not have saved those people on the mountainside.
Meanwhile, search and rescue efforts continue across the island. But as folks here assess the damage, some say they haven't even had time to grieve.
We definitely need some time to think, to ponder upon, the next couple weeks and what we need to do to stay strong for the long haul.
As of Thursday, officials say more than half of the burn zone in Lahaina has been searched. In Maui, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
Well, coming up in sports, Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern Volleyball find out their place in the MIAA preseason poll. Plus, hear from the Colgan football team ahead of its season opener against Frontenac in just 2 weeks. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
One week down for high school football practices in the state of Kansas. And today's practice at Colgan is an exciting milestone in the season of any football team. That being the first day of wearing full pads. The Panthers return 14 seniors to help lead this year's squad, and expectations are high after last year's team won 8 games in a row into the playoffs and made it to the sectional final. This year's schedule gives Colgan a couple big tests early in the season. Home games in week 1 and 2 against Frontenac and Girard.
We always enjoy getting challenged, especially right out of the gate, because we're going to find out a lot. You know, we might get exposed in some areas, but we feel like that's going to make us better. They're going to be well coached and well prepared to come in and give us great games, and that's what we're expecting. You know, great hard fought games, and every little thing's going to be important. And I think that makes these first couple weeks of practice really vital as well, because we got to be ready to go right out of the get go.
Fronic's our rival and it's our senior year. There's no better way than play them on our home turf or come first game, and our whole high school career, we haven't beat Girard yet. Us seniors haven't beat Girard yet, and so we're going to have that little taste in our mouth. But right now, our main focus is on Fronic right now.
And another team that knows a thing or two about winning streaks from last season is Columbus. Titans won 4 in a row after a mostly disappointing regular season, got all the way to the state quarterfinals. That's the good momentum Columbus has heading into this year. The only problem is the 2023 senior class just has 2 players on the Titans. Things might look different compared to last year, but according to some of those juniors thrust into leadership positions, change isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Just a lot more just fun, more energetic, a lot more, just more like team. Just feels more like a team than last year, I feel like.
Our expectation is to be playing our best football, by district time. We're going to have some bumps along the way as we figure ourselves out. As far as we've got 2 or 3 kids that have played significant varsity football for us, but getting things rolling. We're hungry. We're excited for the opportunity for these kids, and they're excited to show everybody what they can do.
And as football season draws closer, so too does every other fall sport, including collegiate volleyball. The MIAA released its preseason coaches poll this morning. Pitt State ranked 6th, Missouri Southern 2 spots behind at 8. Nebraska Kearney at the top of the conference, not much of a surprise there. Washburn in at 4, who you might remember, MIAA tourney champ a year ago, and Missouri Southern actually swept them last year in the regular season. So this is a good conference from top to bottom. Now, the Gorillas begin their season 3 weeks from now during a trip out west. The Colorado Mines tournament, playing against teams like Colorado Mesa, Augustana, Colorado Mines, and Colorado Christian. Missouri Southern holds the Southern Invite that same Friday, the 1st, hosting Cameron, Northwestern Oklahoma, Southern Arkansas, and Southwest Baptist. Finishing things up with Major League Baseball, Royals go into Wrigley. For the first time since they got a season sweep there in 2021, they start things off by beating playoff hopeful Cubs 4-3. Bobby Witt Jr. continues the tear that he's been on. Hits the game-winning 2-run homer in the 6th inning. That's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Netflix is testing the waters for game streaming ahead of a big push to take on heavyweights Sony and Microsoft. Fox's Iman Digman has more in this edition of our Fox on Games series.
Netflix wants to be a major player in the gaming market, and now the company is targeting Xbox Game Pass for streaming games, releasing the new Netflix Game Controller app for iOS that will work on TV as well as PC and Mac through certain browsers. Netflix Games has over 70 titles available, most of them on par with mobile games like Candy Crush or Solitaire. What this app will do is connect to your screen and act like Nintendo's Joy-Cons or PlayStation's DualSense controllers.
We believe that the future of television, of films, and of games is streaming, and we're working hard to continue to grow our lead in this area.
Some devices that can use the new product include Amazon Fire TV, Chromecasts with Google TV, Roku devices, and Samsung and LG smart TVs. Surprisingly left off is Apple TV, considering the Mac and iOS compatibility. Some say this is more of an expansion than a rewrite for Netflix games, since they're already compatible with mouse and keyboard on computers or Mac screens. To hear this story and more, check out the Fox on Tech podcast every weekend. In New York, Eamon Dignam, Fox News.
Coming up, a popular two-headed attraction slithers back to a Texas zoo. A popular Texas zoo attraction is back. It's a two-headed snake, and his return brings up a conundrum. What happens when the two heads disagree? Jeannie Moose reports.
After over 2 years, he's headed back, both heads ready to turn heads at the Cameron Park Zoo in Waco, Texas.
Do the two heads get along?
They almost ignore each other.
Meet Poncho and Lefty, named after the country western song.
Poncho needs your prayers, it's true, but save a few for Lefty too.
The harmless western rat snake was found by a local resident and donated to the zoo when he was a few weeks old.
He has 2 different brains.
In 7 years, he's grown from 8 inches to 3 feet. Is he right-headed or is he left-headed?
The dominant head is the right head. However, the left head does have ideas of its own.
And when Lefty goes one direction and Poncho goes the other, it's trouble. The snake gets hung up on things and injures himself. In 2021, the wound got so bad he had to be removed from his exhibit to be treated and to heal. That waxy-looking substance on Lefty's neck protects the injured area. So which head eats?
They both do.
But the dominant right sometimes drags Lefty away from a mouse meal. The right head gets more to eat, though it all ends up in the same stomach. 20 years ago, I covered a 2-headed turtle named Lefty Righty, whose heads stole food from one another. When one head yawned, the other did too. They got caught on plants. The snakes exhibit has been revamped, so there's little to get stuck on. And 2 heads are no reason Poncho and Lefty couldn't enjoy romance once he's older.
They will tongue flick the female up and down her body.
So maybe 2 heads would be better than one for that.
It sure is possible.
A 2-headed snake threesome? It's enough to leave your heads spinning.
Sounds like double the fun. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We leave you with video of an antelope at a Chicago zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.